You know that feel when you just cut your hair and you don't know what the fuck you're doing with it? Yeah, that's me all the time. I just realized I never actually introduced myself in any video because I'm so good at this. Hi, I'm Nat, or Natasha. Well, you can call me Nat if you don't know how to pronounce Natasha, because I'm not about to be called Natasha. Like, it's a pretty name, but it's not my name. I have been away for a while. I had a reason for being away, and then I didn't have any reason anymore. I was sick before Christmas. Like, I'm filming this in February. That's how long I've been away. I got sick. I was coughing so much that I lost my voice, and it lasted until like January. But I'm back because I want to talk about secondhand shops. Specifically, I want to talk about why they are good, why you should utilize them. But I figured my words might not do much, but my purchases might. So I'm just gonna show you some books that I got secondhand because I know YouTube, or BookTube I guess, and Bookstagram are they like pretty editions of stuff, usually hardcovers, usually they do cost a little bit more, and that's fine, it's your money, but like it's a whole other discussion. But I want to talk about why I think secondhand is like a good option if you cannot afford the newest edition of this super popular book series. What am I doing? So if you can't afford to buy like super expensive and pretty covers or copies of stuff, I'm gonna show you that sometimes you can find some real gems in secondhand stores. Specifically if you're into classics, because most of these are classics that I'm gonna show, because usually like those are the ones that people get rid of for some reason. I'm gonna start with the best fucking book I've ever found, like general. It is this Oscar Wilde book. It's like gigantic, and it's basically just everything that he's ever written in here, mostly. So it's got The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I own like as a single copy and I've read and I loved it. And there's complete short stories, The Importance of Being Earnest, and Other Place. I also own The Importance of Being Earnest. But the thing about Oscar Wilde is he has written a lot of shorter stuff, obviously, and I like owning stuff that I read and liked, and I don't think I can like purchase every single fucking short story he's ever written. So this thing was just perfect, and it was not even expensive. It was 20 crowns. I don't really know what that is in like other currencies, but it's not much. If I'm gonna get coffee from like a chain store or whatever the fuck, it will cost more than this book did. This book, this gigantic, super pretty book, costs less than a coffee. It's first of all, who got rid of this? Who? I just like what are you okay? That's a gem you can find in secondhand stores. Something else, something I found recently, actually. Let me just get them. I recently took a trip around the secondhand store that I live close to, walked around, like looked at everything really thoroughly. The thing about, I live in Sweden, so they don't have the biggest English section, I guess. But if I read in Swedish, I would probably pass out over how many options there are there. The last time I was there, I found Dracula, I found Robinson Crusoe, or however the fuck you pronounce it, and I found Crime and Punishment as well. So these are all classic books that I have considered reading, but maybe did not want to purchase my own copies of because I was not necessarily dying to read them at the same time. It was just like books that I am sort of interested in, but not necessarily wanted to pay full price for. Like, I don't think I would get either of these two in like a normal store. But because I now had the option to buy them super cheaply, I did. Can my hair stop? And I'm someone who, like, it's better if I know I'm gonna struggle with the book, it's better if I own it so I can take my time with it. And I feel like these books are books that I'm not gonna like power through, like speed through super quickly. So it's good that I now own them, but didn't have to pay much for them. So like, worst case scenario, if I don't like this book, I can just not cry about it because I did not pay much for it. I also find that secondhand shops are great places to find plays and dramas and stuff because generally I don't see a lot of stores who sell plays, if I'm gonna be honest. I took literature for 2 years in university, and for the first year we like focused on drama and plays and stuff. So I'm kind of into plays now, and it's just been like a newer interest of mine, so it's been great going into some stores and like secondhand stores and finding some plays. I found Death of a Salesman, which I read and liked. This is not secondhand. Go away. I found Att finna sig själv by, what's his name? Luigi Pirandello. If you just like translate it, it's to find yourself or something. We read 6 Characters in Search of an Author, I think it's called, another play by him, which I liked. And I found this and I was like, okay, I know I liked his other plays, so I can give this one a shot. Have not read it yet, but I can do it whenever I want to because I own it. Then I also found The Tempest by William Shakespeare, which I have not read, but I can soon. I also found Macbeth, not Hamlet, Macbeth by William Shakespeare. And that, like, there's a bunch of notes and stuff in here. Look, I found this edition in a secondhand shop. I can't speak. In a secondhand shop for not expensive at all, and it's great. It's great. This is like my one argument, is that I found these cheaply, and that should be enough. I also found this thing. This is like some sort of like William Shakespeare thing. It's got like an introduction in it, and it's got some sonnets. Is that how you say it? Sonnets? And some songs and whatever. It's like this little short thing with some William Shakespeare stuff, but it's got like super nice illustrations in it, if you can see. And it was just like really nice because I'm trying to like get through all of Shakespeare's stuff. Not necessarily too quickly, but I want to do it before I die. And this was just like nice to have as someone who is a Shakespeare fan. And inside there's a little note from probably like the previous owner of the previous owner, blah, blah, blah. This was given to someone. I'm just gonna read it. Dear Lena, or Lena, I don't know. We hope you will join us in the autumn. The Shakespeare sisters, Christina and Marie. It's a little note from the people who gave like this book to someone. I don't know if it was the previous owner who actually like gave it to the secondhand shop, but it's just so cool. This book has history. Who are the Shakespeare sisters? I want to know. Will I ever know? Probably not. It's just really cool. And the last play drama thingy that I have is 6 plays by Corneille and Racine, which were these French authors. What's it called? What's it called? Playwrights. We had to have a presentation about certain authors when I took the drama classes, and I and this other girl picked Corneille and Racine. Actually, we sort of made it like a drama thingy. I think I was Corneille, I think she was Racine, and we just pretended to be the authors and like told information about like the authors, about ourselves. And I don't know, it was just like really nice. It's one of the most fun assignments I've had, and when I found this I was like, this is not only really nice, but it means something to me because I have history with these authors, and I just thought it was nice because now I have 6 plays to read, and it's great. Moving on to some Jane Austen. I recently, actually like just a couple of days ago, finished Pride and Prejudice, which I would not have read probably until like another 5 years if I had not found this at a secondhand shop. Well, my friend found it for me. She was like, do you want me to buy this for you? I was like, sure, I'll pay you back the 20 crowns that it will cost. I don't really like this edition of it, but at the same time it's like older. It's kind of cool just because it is an older book, and this was the first Jane Austen thing I read, and I was scared that I would not like her stuff, but I adored it so much. And because of this, I was kind of scared of buying new editions of her stuff. I owned Mansfield Park that I got for a birthday actually, but I kind of wanted to start with Pride and Prejudice. Just I knew the story, so this was perfect for me to like jump into her stuff. However, I never listened to myself, and I got another Austen book before I had read it. Before I read Pride and Prejudice, I got Sense and Sensibility, also secondhand, purely because it's so pretty. This copy is so pretty. Look at it. It's just so clean. Like, so sometimes you can just find like real gems appearance-wise, and I love it because I don't like the thing about Jane Austen is I don't really see much of her stuff in stores here in Sweden. So if I can like get her stuff cheaply, I will. I might like buy fancier covers or whatever, covers later on. But like if you're unsure about whether you like an author or not, this is like a perfect way to get into them. And if you are like me, or if you are someone who likes collecting certain like versions of books, I think secondhand is the perfect way to do this. One of my favorite books is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I was not planning on becoming someone who like owned several like copies of it, but I had my copy that I read. I love it. It's a beautiful copy. Might show it someday. And then I found like the original scroll version in a store, a regular store. That's like just everything is just written like it was written when he first wrote it, because he wrote it like, well, they say that he wrote it like in one night and with no like paragraphs or whatever. So it's got also the like original names and stuff before he had to change it. So I bought that copy for myself. So I already had 2 copies, and then my friend, who actually, I think it was the same day she got me Pride and Prejudice, she found 2 other copies of On the Road. She was like, are you someone who like collects this? Because she collects versions of her own favorite book. I was like, well, I'm not really, but I already own 2 copies of it, so I might as well just get these that are cheap. So we got this version, and we got this version. I'm probably not gonna like buy I'm not gonna buy On the Road in regular stores in other like versions, probably. But if I find it secondhand, why not? Why not? I have become that person. And lastly, the very last thing I have to show you is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have been trying to read this book for a while. I got it from the library, I think the summer of 2016 or something, and I tried. Like, this feels like such a me book. It feels like I would like this book, but I had trouble with the writing style. I think it's mostly because I didn't allow myself to like try. It was a library copy. I had to return it at some point, and it stressed me out. So I was like, okay, I'm not reading this book. And then I found it in the secondhand shop, and I was like, this is how I'm gonna give this book a second chance. It's meant to be, right? I am meant to read this book, and now I own it. I can take my time with it. Beautiful books, worth the price, giving books second chances because you can buy them cheaply, having more copies of one book for some reason. Like, these are just some reasons why you should use secondhand shops. I've also found like other things in secondhand shops that are not books, but this is a book-related video, so I'm just gonna talk about the books. That was it. Hopefully you will go into your local secondhand shop or whatever and have a little look around, because you might find yourself with a fucking pile of amazing books for like no money at all. I don't have an outro. I'm just gonna go. Hopefully I will film more from now on. If you have any suggestions, I am all ear. So that's it for this time. I have literally homework right behind my phone waiting for me to finish, but I don't want to. Life. Bye.